Hey guys, and today we're going to see how much stuff can fit into the trunk of the all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now, I did conduct a complete in-depth comparison review between the 2018 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport and the all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. So if you are interested in knowing more information about the changes that Hyundai made over the previous generation onto this all-new generation, don't hesitate to check out that complete in-depth comparison review. Also, I conducted a trunk test review on the previous generation Santa Fe Sport, so if you are curious as to how the all-new current generation stacks up to the previous generation as far as the cargo area goes, don't hesitate to check out that complete in-depth trunk test review as well. But with all that to the side, today we are going to see exactly how much stuff you can fit into the trunk of the all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now, before I get this review rolling, I'd like to thank Tony King at Suitcase Hyundai in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for allowing me to review this vehicle for you guys. If you're interested in purchasing a brand new Hyundai and live in the South Florida area, don't hesitate to check them out. They will get you into the perfect Hyundai in no time. And remember that all of Drive and Be Driven's reviews are 100% honest and 0% biased. So, let's get started. Alright, so in this trunk review I am going to be looking at both the base SE model right there in that dark blue color and the top of the line ultimate trim level right there in that gray color. Now both of these vehicles are going to have just about a $10,000 difference between the two. This base SE model is going to be just about $26,000 and this top of the line ultimate trim level is going to be just about $36,000. Now let's first look at the ultimate trim level here. There are going to be a total of 4 ways to open up the trunk of this ultimate trim level. One way to open up the trunk will be by coming to your key fob right here and pressing on this trunk hold button. If you hold that down, the Santa Fe will open up its trunk. The second way to open up the trunk will be by coming over here to the driver's cockpit area and pressing on this button right here, and it will unlock the trunk as long as you hold it down. The third way to open up the trunk will be by just walking up to the rear of the Hyundai Santa Fe. Actually, this vehicle is going to feature that hands-free smart trunk access system that Hyundai has been implementing on a lot of their latest products. Now, if you want that hands-free smart trunk access system, that is only going to be standard on your SEL Plus trim levels and above. If you go for that base SE or the SEL trim level, you're not going to get that. But all in all, that system is definitely extremely convenient, especially if you have lots of things in your hand or if you're holding lots of heavy things. You don't necessarily have a free hand to press any types of buttons. You can just walk right up to the rear of the vehicle and that tailgate will open up without you having to use your hands at all. And the fourth way to open up the trunk will be by just walking up to the Hyundai Santa Fe, coming underneath the Hyundai logo, right underneath that satin silver bar, and pressing the rubberized pad, and your tailgate will open right on up. It will play a little chime and will be power assisted actually. Now if you want this power assisted feature, that is going to be standard on your SEL Plus trim levels and above. Once again, if you go for that base SE model and that SEL model, you're not going to get this power assisted trunk. But now let's go ahead and look at the base SE model. So like I said, the base SE model is just about $10,000 less expensive than that top line ultimate trim level, and with that you are going to get slightly less ways to open up the trunk. Actually, you are only going to get one way to open up the trunk and one way to unlock the trunk. So the one way to unlock the trunk will be by coming to your key fob right here, and all you have to do is hold down on that trunk hold button, and the Santa Fe will flash its hazards down there, and then you just have to walk up and press the button underneath your Hyundai logo and the satin silver bar, and the tailgate will pop once, and then you just pull it up the rest of the way. Now this once again is not going to have any power assisted features since this is the base SE model. It will have these hydraulic struts here, so you don't really have to lift up the liftgate too high or really at all. It's really just pull it up and the whole thing comes swinging up, so it's definitely extremely convenient and user friendly. But now that we have the cargo area open on both of these vehicles, you are going to be looking at a pretty spacious 35.9 cubic feet of space with those rear seats folded up, and that is going to be the exact same cargo space rating if you go for that base SE model or that top of the line ultimate trim level. And a fun fact, this is actually going to be half a cubic foot more space than what you found on the previous generation Hyundai Santa Fe Sport, which did have just about 35.4 cubic feet of space. But let's walk up to the Santa Fe right here in the ultimate trim level and look at the overall cargo area furnishings that Hyundai decided to put inside of this vehicle. So on the floor, you are going to have sort of like this woolen felt like material. Definitely has a very durable feel to it, and it has sort of like a hard touch feel to it, but it definitely feels like it will hold up to the test of time and has a very rugged and durable feel to it. Now coming to the walls right here, you are going to have a leather imitation type pattern on your hard to the touch plastic walls, which is going to run all the way up here, and is also going to run down here with sort of like these vertical lines right there, sort of imitating a trunk door sill plate right there. Definitely looks pretty attractive looking. Right over here on the wall, you're also going to have your Infinity Premium Audio System speaker that is only going to be located on the left side, and it is going to have that little Infinity Premium Audio System logo right there. If you come over here to the right side, it is actually not going to have that speaker on the right side. You will have a little cubby right here, which is definitely going to be a pretty neat feature to store just a few more things inside of there. Now coming back over here to the left side, you're also going to have another speaker inside of your cargo area, and on the right side, just in case if you did not have enough speakers inside of your cargo area, you're also going to have another one right there. That is going to be a part of your 12 speaker Infinity Premium Audio System, which is going to be standard on your SEL Plus trim levels and above. Now you are going to have these wheel wells that are going to protrude into the cargo area just a little bit on both sides, but honestly it's not too bad. It sort of protrudes in quite a bit, but for an SUV, this vehicle is going to have pretty large wheels, and the wheels have to go somewhere, so it is going to protrude just a little bit into the cargo area, but not too much. I definitely can tell that Hyundai tried to decrease the amount that those wheels protruded into the cargo area as much as possible. You're also going to have these little hooks inside of the cargo area so that you can hook things inside. It is going to be located on all four corners of your cargo area, so that's definitely a pretty neat feature. And another thing that the Hyundai Santa Fe is going to feature will be these little hooks right there, and those hooks are going to be for your optional cargo net, which is going to be a dealer accessory. It's actually going to be a $50 dealer accessory if you so choose to option for that. Another dealer accessory is going to be this tonneau cargo cover, so you pretty much just pull it on back and hook it right into place on both sides. It is going to have a pretty durable feel to it, and it sort of has like a plasticky or sort of like a vinyl like material to it. Definitely feels pretty upscale and premium. And one thing I really like is when you're installing this, you pretty much just pull that back and it comes right out extremely easily, and it has sort of like a little bit of a padding on the side so you don't scratch up the walls inside of your cargo area. Definitely an extremely neat feature, and I really like how Hyundai did think about that inside of the cargo area of the Santa Fe. And if you want that tonneau cargo cover, that is going to be a $190 option for all trim levels of the 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to get any LED lighting inside of the trunk. You're only going to get this one light right here, which you pretty much just click back and it will turn on. It is going to be a single incandescent bulb back here. I'm actually really surprised that Hyundai did not put LED lights inside of the cargo area, especially since this is the top of the line ultimate trim level. And the Hyundai Santa Fe inside of the ultimate trim level actually comes with LED map lights all around the cabin, except for this one light, which is going to be an incandescent bulb. Definitely feel like that's a little bit of an oversight on Hyundai's end. Definitely would like to see them rectify that in future model years. Now, one thing that is going to be standard on all Hyundai Santa Fe models is going to be what's right underneath this floor. So if I open up this floor, you are going to notice that you're going to have a pretty large cubby right here. It is going to have these dealer accessory wheel locks right there and a smooth plastic inside of here, so if anything spills inside of there, you can just pretty much wipe it right out, and it is going to be extremely easy to clean and have a very durable and rugged feel. And over here on the right, you're also going to have your compact spare tire jack kits right there, so that's pretty much going to be all the tools that you will need in order to change out your full-size tire for a compact spare tire, which is going to be standard on all Hyundai Santa Fe's for the 2019 model year. And just in case if that was not enough underfloor space, you can lift this portion up. You have to pull it a little bit hard because it is going to lock into place down there, so you give it a little bit of a tug and it opens right on up. And once you open up, it is going to sort of have like a tri-fold type of design to it, so you can fold it back once and fold it back a second time, and you are going to notice that it is going to reveal tons of space underneath this floor. I mean, you have tons of space. It goes past my wrist, pretty much up to my forearm, so it's definitely an extremely deep compartment here. And I was definitely wondering when I first walked up to the Santa Fe, I was wondering, okay, why is this cargo area not that deep? It should be a lot deeper, especially considering you have all that bumper down there. And then I noticed how you have all of this space underneath the cargo load floor, which is definitely a pretty neat feature that Hyundai did choose to option that. So if you have tons of knickknacks, you can just throw them right inside of there, and you can actually remove this if you want to. Extremely easy to remove. I'm removing it with one hand right now, and you can take it right on out if you don't want it inside of there. But if you want it inside of there, you can just put it right back inside into place, and then it will lock into place and all that stuff. It's best if you use two hands. I'm using one hand right now. Obviously, if you have two hands, you can just pretty much fold that all over the place and get it right into place. Actually, I just did it. So actually, you can do it with one hand if you are holding lots of things in your hands. You can rest assured that it will take a little bit more time to do it with one hand, but it's definitely doable. But now let's look at the base SE model and see how that cargo area compares. So looking at the base SE model here, immediately you are going to notice that the color inside of this cargo area is going to be different. It is going to sort of have like a deep dark brown, very rich like color. Definitely love the look of it. This is going to be because we have that gray and brown interior inside of this Santa Fe, while the ultimate trim level is going to have that black and beige interior. So it is going to have that black cargo area lining. But inside of here, you're going to have this pretty attractive looking brown cargo lining, which is going to carry over onto your woolen felt floor right here, which just like the previous generation is going to be all across the floor. And you will also have your wheel wells that are going to protrude into the cargo area just a little bit. On the walls, once again, you will have that leather imitation type of texturing here, but it is going to be hard to the touch. But it will once again be that very neat looking brown interior with these vertical lines running right there, which is definitely a pretty neat aesthetic feature. Now looking at the wall right here, you are going to notice that it is not going to feature that premium audio system. And coming right up here, once again, you are going to have another little plastic insert right there. That would be the place that your speaker would otherwise be, like I showed you in the top of the line ultimate trim level. And once again, right here, you are going to have another little cutout area, which is going to be in place of your speaker. You will also have your cargo net hooks right here, and this model unfortunately does not have that dealer accessory tonneau cover, so we can't have anything to pull over here. But like I showed you in the ultimate trim level, it is going to be the exact same thing that you get inside of here. Now underneath the floor, like I said, this is going to be all standard equipment, so it is going to look exactly the same as the ultimate trim level underneath both of these floors. So I'm definitely extremely happy that Hyundai did choose to keep that on the base model and carry it all the way up to the top of the line trim level. Definitely extremely generous on Hyundai's end. And unfortunately, you're not going to get that power assisted trunk or hands-free smart trunk access system on your base SE model. You are going to get a normal pull handle right here, but it is going to be relatively easy to close. If you want that hands-free smart trunk access system or that power assisted trunk, you will have to step up to that SEL Plus model. I'm noticing that the SEL Plus model seems like really the bargain buy inside of the overall Hyundai Santa Fe lineup. You get tons of features for your money, and it's really like that middle trim level that just gives you pretty much what most people will want. I feel like that is going to be probably their volume seller. But all you have to do is grab right onto here on this very thick and durable feeling handle and pull it right on down. And that'll be the same thing on this side. You can grab it right here on the ultimate trim level, which is actually going to be extremely easy to close. Or you can just press this button and close the tailgate right on up. And I also wanted to mention how easy it is to stand under the tailgate in both of these vehicles. So let's open up the trunk on the ultimate trim level here. And if I stand right underneath here, you are going to notice that I have tons of space. I am 5'11" in height. So if you are 6 foot, 6'1", and possibly even 6'2", you should be able to stand under this tailgate with no issue. And you can actually adjust how high you want this trunk to open by just holding down on this button and lifting it to the height. This is the highest position that it can open to. And if we come over here to the SE model and open up the trunk, I can also stand under the tailgate of this vehicle as well with no issue. So that's also another thing to keep in mind. So all in all, Hyundai definitely made it pretty easy and practical to stand under both of these tailgates. All right, so now let's once again open up the trunk on both of these vehicles and see how they compare to their competitors in terms of cargo volume. All right, so once again, with both these rear seats folded up, you are going to be looking at 35.9 cubic feet of space, which is definitely a pretty abundant amount of space for an SUV. So in comparison to its competitors, now in my complete in-depth review of the Santa Fe, I sort of mentioned how the Santa Fe can compete in 3 different segments. So one segment can be the compact utility vehicle segment, another segment can be the mid-size utility vehicle segment, and another segment can be sort of like an in-between or crossover type of vehicle segment. Now, if you're a little bit confused about that, definitely check out my complete in-depth review in which I do pretty much go a little bit more in depth as to why I believe the Hyundai Santa Fe competes in all 3 of those segments. But when you are looking at the ultra competitive compact utility vehicle segment, the Hyundai Santa Fe is going to come in towards the tops of its pack, more like towards the middle tops of its pack. So if you're looking at the Jeep Cherokee, that is going to have 24.6 cubic feet of space. The Chevrolet Equinox is going to have 29.9 cubic feet of space. The Mazda CX-5 is going to have 30.9 cubic feet of space. This is when Ford's Escape will come in at 34.3 cubic feet of space. Then Hyundai's Santa Fe will come right in at 35.9 cubic feet of space. Then you'll have the Volkswagen Tiguan, which will have a slightly larger trunk at 37.6 cubic feet of space. Then the Toyota RAV4 will have 38.4 cubic feet of space. This is when the Honda CR-V will come in at 39.2 cubic feet of space. And the Nissan Rogue is just barely the largest trunk in its segment with the rear seats folded up at 39.3 cubic feet of space. So all in all, the Hyundai Santa Fe is sort of towards the tops of its pack, but definitely is not going to be the largest trunk in the ultra competitive compact utility vehicle segment. Now, if you are looking at the mid-size SUV segment, the Nissan Murano is going to come in at up to 32.1 cubic feet of space, but it will have 31.1 cubic feet of space if you option for that sunroof. And this is when the Hyundai Santa Fe will come in at 35.9 cubic feet of space. Then the Jeep Grand Cherokee will come in at a little bit larger, 36.3 cubic feet of space. The Ford Edge will come in at 39.2 cubic feet of space. And then the GMC Acadia, which is a 3-row crossover, but if you are looking at right behind that second row, you are going to be looking at 41.7 cubic feet of space. And if you are looking at a segment that I sort of semi-categorized, is going to be that in-betweener SUV segment. So if you are looking at the Subaru Outback, that vehicle is going to feature 35.5 cubic feet of space. This is when the Hyundai Santa Fe will come in right at the middle at 35.9 cubic feet of space. And then the Dodge Journey will have a solid 37 cubic feet of space behind that second row. The Dodge Journey also features an optional 3rd row seating option. But let's fold down the rear seats in both of these vehicles. So to fold down the rear seats inside of the ultimate trim level, like I displayed earlier, you just press these buttons on either side and those rear seats will fold down. So I'm going to press left. The left side will fold down through a power assistance, and I'm going to click right, and that seat will also fold down through a power assistance. Definitely a pretty neat feature. And one thing I am so excited about is, yes, there's a flat transition from your cargo load floor to your rear seat backs. That makes it so practical inside of this SUV. I mean, you could be sliding in very large flat screen TVs and not have to worry about having any type of hump located right there. And I really like how Hyundai made the transition pretty much extremely flat. I mean, you can barely notice this seat is not completely down. But if they were both to be completely down, you can see on this side, it's just a completely flat transition from your cargo load floor to your rear seat backs. All right, so now let's come over here to the SE trim level and pretty much see how that compares. So if you go for that base SE trim level, once again, this is the base model, so you're not going to have any power folding rear seats. Actually, you're not going to have any cables or any type of buttons located in the trunk or the cargo area in order to fold down those rear seats. Hyundai actually replaces the buttons with sort of like this fake vent grill like portion here. When you actually look at it head on, there's actually nothing behind it. It's just a slight design cue to sort of match the overall vents happening around the wheel wells. Definitely looks pretty attractive looking, but I mean, you can't expect Hyundai to give you everything on this base model. And you're also going to have that 12-volt power outlet right there. But nevertheless, to fold down these rear seats, you're actually going to have to walk around to the back seats. Make sure your doors are unlocked. Open it on up. And you're not going to have any levers located up here. You're actually going to have to come all the way down here and pull this pretty helpful little handle right there and pull it right up. And your rear seat will come right down. You have to sort of push it down and it will lock into place. If you try to lift it up, it will not lift up. You will have to pull this once more and lift it up. So it begins to be sort of like a two-hand type of job. You're going to have to hold this up and then pull that up. I can't really do it with one hand because it's definitely going to be a pretty challenging thing to do with one hand. But you can see when we look at the rear, it is going to be a flat transition from your cargo load floors to your rear seat backs. Once again, a huge thing that I really love that Hyundai implemented inside of this vehicle. And unfortunately, you cannot fold down both seats from the exact same place. You are going to have to come onto the other side, pull this lever once again, watch it come right down, and this one just came right down and locked into place by itself. And I really like how the seatbelt sort of moves right out of the way. You're not going to have any dangling seatbelts either because Hyundai mounts the center rear seatbelt right into the back of the center seat, which is definitely an extremely helpful feature. You're not going to have any weird seatbelts hanging down and getting in the way of you loading in objects inside of your cargo area. Now you may be wondering which trim levels you can get that power assisted rear seat feature that I demonstrated for you on this ultimate trim level, and that is only going to be available on, once again, your SEL Plus and above trim levels. Once again, I really feel like that SEL Plus trim level is going to give you the most bang for your buck when it does come to the overall cargo area, furnishings, finishings, and options and convenience features that you can opt for the 2019 model year of the Santa Fe. But once you fold down these rear seats, the roominess becomes instantly apparent on both of these vehicles. You are going to be looking at 71.3 cubic feet of space on both trim levels, whether you go for that base SE model right there in blue or the top of the line ultimate trim level in gray. And fun fact, that is actually, unfortunately, going to be a 0.2 cubic foot decrease over the previous generation's 71.5 cubic feet of space. Definitely would have liked to have seen Hyundai increase the cargo area, but at least Hyundai did not drastically decrease it. Just keep in mind that Hyundai did not drastically increase it either. It is going to be relatively the same as the previous generation. And another thing I did want to mention is how these seats are only going to have a 60-40 split. The previous generation did have that 40-20-40 split, where you would have the 40 there, this 20 portion will split by itself, and then another 40 will split right there. But unfortunately for the 2019 model year, whether you go for that base SE model or even that top of the line ultimate trim level, it is only going to be 60-40 split, which is definitely a little bit of a downside. But one upside is going to be that on that previous generation, you did sort of have like a spring actuated button to fold down your rear seats. But now for the 2019 model year, you are going to have these pretty helpful and convenient and extremely easy push buttons, and it will just fold right down your rear seats with power assistance. But once again, let's look at how these vehicles compare to their competitors once you fold down those rear seats. So once you fold down the rear seats and you are looking at the ultra competitive compact utility vehicle segment, the Jeep Cherokee is going to come in at 54.9 cubic feet of space. This is when the Mazda CX-5 is going to come in at 59.6 cubic feet of space. Then the Chevrolet Equinox will come in at 63.5 cubic feet of space. The Ford Escape will have just a little bit more space than that Equinox, coming in at 67.8 cubic feet of space. This is when the Nissan Rogue will come in at 70 cubic feet of space, a solid 70 cubic feet of space. And once again, the Santa Fe is not going to necessarily have the largest trunk in its class, but definitely will be towards the tops of the pack, coming in at just around 71.3 cubic feet of space. This is when the Toyota RAV4 will come in at 73.4 cubic feet of space, the Volkswagen Tiguan at 73.5 cubic feet of space, and the largest trunk in the compact utility vehicle segment, at least when you have the rear seats folded down, is going to be the Honda CR-V, coming in at 74.8 cubic feet of space. Now, if you are looking at the mid-size SUV segment, the Nissan Murano is going to come in at 67 cubic feet of space, which is going to be less than what the Santa Fe offers. But if you go for that sunroof, it is going to be actually even less space, coming in at a solid 65 cubic feet of space. If you look at that Jeep Grand Cherokee, it is going to feature 68.3 cubic feet of space. And if you go for the Hyundai Santa Fe, any trim level, you are going to be looking at 71.3 cubic feet of space. Then the Ford Edge will have just a little bit more at 73.4 cubic feet of space. And then the GMC Acadia is going to top the pack with a solid 79 cubic feet of space. Now, once again, if you are looking at these vehicles in the in-betweener SUV segment, the Dodge Journey is going to come in at 67.6 cubic feet of space. The Hyundai Santa Fe, once again, is going to come right in the middle at 71.3 cubic feet of space. And then Subaru's Outback is going to have the largest trunk out of the three with 73.3 cubic feet of space. So all in all, when it does come to its competition, the Hyundai Santa Fe definitely has pretty large trunks, but don't expect it to have the largest trunk in any of the segments, but it is going to be relatively competitive and be pretty much towards the tops of the class, whether you go for the compact utility vehicle segment, the mid-size utility vehicle segment, or even the made-up segment that I made called the in-betweener vehicle segment. These vehicles will be able to compete strongly in all three of those segments. Alright, so now it is time for what we have all been waiting for. How much stuff can actually fit into the trunk of the 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe? So let's first see how a 5.3 foot long pool noodle fits widthwise inside of the trunk. So let's grab our pool noodle right here and let's put it in against the wall. So I'm going to put it in all the way against the wall right there. And then let's come down here to the other end. And you are going to notice that we actually have quite a bit of space there, maybe about an inch of clearance, and it is going to fit inside of the trunk widthwise with no problem whatsoever. Alright, so now let's see how this pool noodle fits lengthwise with the rear seats folded down. So let me use the SE for this demonstration. And let's put on in this 5.3 foot long pool noodle. I have that front driver's seat adjusted to my comfort at 5'11", and this is just crazy. Look at how much space we have left. I mean, I could probably fit like a whole half of another pool noodle right there with no issues whatsoever. All in all, when it does come to the pool noodle test, this is pretty much a walk in the park for the 2019 Santa Fe. Alright, so now let's see how our 22-inch suitcase fits height-wise inside of the trunk. Now, this vehicle actually has quite a bit of a lift-over height, so I definitely have to lift this up quite a bit, and I do load this up with a few things so that it is a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to put it all the way to the back there, and you are going to notice that you have tons of space when you are going to put in your suitcase height-wise there. Once again, that is a 22-inch suitcase, and you can easily see that you can possibly even put another one right there and easily align possibly 4 or 5 of them right next to each other right there. So once again, the suitcase test for the Santa Fe is pretty much a walk in the park as well, and obviously this will also fit once you fold it down as well and push it all the way against the back. That suitcase will fit in there with no issues whatsoever. Alright, so now let's see how many laundry baskets with a 17-inch diameter and an 11-inch height fit inside of the trunk with the rear seats folded up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you can fit a total of 10 laundry baskets with the rear seats folded up, and that's actually the highest rating that any vehicle can get in the how much stuff can you fit in that trunk segment with the rear seats folded up. So that's definitely an extremely good rating that the Santa Fe was able to achieve. Now you may be wondering why I'm not stacking anything on top of here, and that's because there's actually not enough clearance over this basket to stack anything else. So that's pretty much the highest I can stack these laundry baskets, and you could possibly fit another laundry basket right right here, but you can't really stack it because the cargo area is going to sort of slope in just a little bit right here, so you can't expect to put 2 laundry baskets stacked here, but I will expect you to put just about 1 laundry basket right there with no issue whatsoever. And let's close up the tailgate right here by just pressing this and see if the trunk can actually close to confirm this vehicle fitting 10 laundry baskets. And the trunk is going to close with no problem whatsoever. I am absolutely astonished by how much space the Hyundai Santa Fe offers and how much useful space actually it offers, because 10 laundry baskets fit in here with tons of room to spare, and not to mention you are still going to have all of that space underneath your cargo load floor as well. All right, so now let's see how many laundry baskets fit inside of the trunk of the Santa Fe with the rear seats folded down. So right over here, we have both the rear seats folded down, the 60/40 splits folded down, and you are going to notice the flat transition from the cargo load floor to the rear seat backs. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I believe I could fit a 10th one right in that middle portion right there. Let's go and take a look and see if I can do that. Obviously I need to make sure this rear seat door is unlocked, and 10. So the Santa Fe with the rear seats folded down can fit a total of 10 laundry baskets, which is, I mean, incredible. Possibly even a 10 plus rating, if I have to be honest. I could probably even fit another laundry basket right in this center portion, because I can push that all the way over there into that far corner, and that one all the way in that far corner, and I could possibly even fit another laundry basket right there. So with the rear seats folded down, the Santa Fe once again can hold 10 laundry baskets and possibly even more than 10 laundry baskets. So all in all, I am definitely extremely impressed by the Hyundai Santa Fe when it does come to how much usable space it actually has. Now, one feature that is going to allow the 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe to snag just a few more points in my how much stuff can you fit in that trunk segment is going to be this cargo maximizing rear seat functionality. So you can slide these rear seats forward up to 6 inches if I just pull the little lever underneath the rear seat bottom, and I can slide it all the way forward to where my knees slam into the rear seats, and then if I pull it back just a little bit, it'll lock into place, and that is going to be just about 6 inches moved forward from what's found in the back seat. So you can pretty much move up these rear seats up to just about 6 inches and still sit in the back seats. Now, if I sit all the way back, I do have these rear seats all the way in their furthest upright position, and this is obviously going to give you more cargo area but a little bit less rear seat occupant comfort. Now, if you want the most comfortable positioning, you will have to pull this lever once more and pull it all the way back in its tracks, and then go down here and pull this little lever and put your rear seat back all the way back in the furthest reclined position, and that is going to give you the most comfortable seating position for your rear seat passengers, but it is going to decrease your overall cargo volume by quite a bit. So if you want the most cargo space and you don't really care about your rear seat passengers, or your rear seat passengers are willing to sacrifice a little bit of comfort, you can put this rear seat all the way in its furthest upright position, as well as slide up your rear seat all the way up to where your knees pretty much hit the back of your seat, lock it into place, and that will be pretty much the furthest up that you can move up the seat, and pretty much square off your cargo area to add just a little bit more cargo volume. Now, if you want this sliding feature on your rear seats, that is only going to be available on your SEL Plus trim levels and above. So since we have the ultimate trim level here, that is going to come as standard equipment, but this overall reclining backrest is going to be standard on all trim levels of the 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Overall, the all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe proves to be a very solid entry in both the compact utility vehicle and mid-size utility vehicle segment, especially as far as cargo numbers go. Therefore, the Santa Fe should offer more than enough trunk space and versatility for most families shopping for a new SUV. Even though the new Santa Fe has a tough time fitting into a particular segment, its cavernous and versatile cargo area truly proves that Hyundai's best-selling and first-ever SUV can still hold its own no matter which segment it is classified to compete in. But I want to know your opinion. After watching this cargo review, do you think the Santa Fe has a versatile trunk that fits your lifestyle? Comment down below saying yes, it fits my lifestyle, or no, it doesn't fit my lifestyle. I definitely want to hear your opinion, so don't hesitate to comment down below. Well, that's it for this cargo review. Comment and tell me what you would like to see in future videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Marcus, and thanks for watching Drive and Be Driven. Keep it positive, and I'll see you next time. You can become a Drive and Be Driven driver today. Just simply click the subscribe button and you will become a part of the Drive and Be Driven circle. Subscribing will allow you to stay up to date with the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel. Thank you to all of my current Drive and Be Driven drivers for driving me towards my goals and dreams. Stay subscribed for more awesome videos like this one.